What's up, gear mortals? Trey, Xavier here. Saw a couple of my YouTuber friends doing this and I thought it seemed like a pretty fun idea. So I'm just gonna take you through my collection of guitars. It's kind of silly how many I have. I don't really like having this many guitars actually, but you'll see in a minute why that is and how it got to this point. How did we get this far? How did I let this happen? You know, it's not really that weird that I have this many guitars. Music is my job and my life, and I've played guitar for 22 years, so actually, at this point, I'm only averaging one guitar every 2 years at the rate that I've got them, so not bad. So we'll start with this guitar. This is my number one. This is my sort of desert island guitar. I primarily play 7 strings. I play 7-string guitars in Virtue, and I really love playing 7-string, although I only own 2, weirdly, I just realized, at the moment. But it's very simple, dead simple. Just one volume knob and a switch and hardtail, you know, ebony fretboard. I love white guitars. You'll see I have several. This one is just the bomb. It plays great. It sounds great. It looks awesome. I love Telecasters, so that I was able to get a 7-string Tele made to my specifications. It's very exciting to me, and I definitely play this guitar more than any of the other ones. 5-piece maple and walnut neck. You know, locking tuners, gotta have those because I don't want to spend a million years changing the strings. This one is my very first decent 7-string that I ever got. I bought a piece of shit PV something 7-string that looked awesome, but I was just dipping my toes into 7-string guitars. So I wanted something cheap, and I got it on Craigslist. It was like, I want to say it was like 150 bucks. It was not good. It was a 24.75 inch scale, 7-string, so that low B was Flop City. And at the time, I didn't really understand scale length, so I just thought it was a shitty guitar, which it was, but you know, if I'd have beefed up the string gauge on it, it probably would have been fine. It was just too floppy of a string gauge, so I ordered a custom guitar from a custom builder, and I didn't realize that I was going to be waiting a year for it. That's something that happens sometimes if you get a custom one-off guitar from just a lone luthier builder. And in the meantime, while I was waiting for that, I kind of succumbed to gas, and I bought this guitar, and I'm really glad that I did, because the guitar that I ordered, the custom guitar, turned out to be a piece of shit, and I sent it back after waiting for a year. I played the thing for 10 minutes and put it back in the box and shipped it right back to where it came from, and I got all my money back. But I discovered this glorious gem of a guitar, the Ernie Ball JP7. So this is one of the sort of newer ones. The older ones, the bridge had like a kind of a little divot, like a little cut in thing. It looked kind of weird if you see the old ones. I don't know why they changed it if it wasn't as good or whatever, but this is one of the sort of newer ones. It's still probably, I don't know, 10 years old at this point, but this right here is the reason that I truly love this model of guitar. So this, of course, is the John Petrucci guitar, the first signature model that he had with Ernie Ball, this and the JP6, the 6-string version. And I'd never seen anything like this. So I get all kinds of terrible pain in my wrists and elbows and arms. I get a lot of inflammation. And if I play a guitar that doesn't have some kind of good forearm contour, it just makes it way worse. It just causes the inflammation to go haywire. So this is the forearm contour that I think every guitar in the universe needs. It's so, so comfortable, and it's one of the reasons I love playing this guitar. These are actually Cecil lithium pickups. I wanted to try something different, and this was, I traded someone for these because I wanted to try something different. I actually like the stock pickups in it a lot. It's just the bridge pickup is a little too round for heavy stuff, I think. I wanted something a little bit brighter, so that worked out pretty good. I just realized that I actually traded an overdrive pedal for these from a guy named Jason Spell. really great dude who unfortunately passed away last year. And I just now remembered that. That's a bit of a bummer, but you know, there they are. So despite this being one of my favorite guitars, there's a lot of things about it that I wish I could change. Not really a fan of rosewood fretboards in general, but that's how it came, you know. Love this neck though. Oh my gosh. It's so thin and like pretty flat, and it's comfy as hell. Gunstock oil finish. So it basically just is pretty much just wood. Nice cutaway, but not really generally into bolt-on necks, but you know, Ernie Ball makes some of the very best guitars on the planet. Super solid and awesome. Love this guitar. I don't play it nearly as much as I probably should. This one is the Majesty Monarch from Ernie Ball. One of the, definitely one of the top guitars in terms of how it sounds and plays. Damn, this guitar plays so nice. It's incredibly light, and the finish and everything is beautiful. I'm like generally not into the way that it looks. I think these are kind of weird looking guitars, but super ergonomic. I mean, the upper fret access is off the chain. These pickups sound incredible. I love the way this guitar plays and sounds. You can hear it. You can just hear it. It's not even plugged in. Not into painted necks, but at least this one's like a satin finish on the back. You know, with any guitar, you're gonna have to make compromises. Any off-the-shelf guitar is usually not gonna be exactly what you want. So there's a lot of stuff that it's not exactly what I want, but it doesn't really matter that much. For example, the other Ernie Ball was not a neck through. This one is a neck through, but you know, like I don't really like the tilt back headstock on with this shape. I think it's a little weird looking. I like it just the straight headstock. That's why it can be really cool to get a custom built guitar, or a semi-custom guitar like the TL70. You know, that was made to my exact specifications. I got to pick the color and all kinds of stuff. So, you know, there's a lot of places you could get custom guitars, and they'll let you build a monstrosity, and you'll try to customize everything, and you put everything on it that you think you want, and then it gets to you and you're like, oh no. Oh no. I'm of course a big Dream Theater fan, love John Petrucci for his playing as well as his tone. So it's nice to have a guitar that I can get kind of that liquid laser beam lead guitar sound. This one's definitely the jam for that. This is my Cecil LP M6. This is the Lee McKinney of Born of Osiris signature model. Really like this, obviously. It's trans white, big into white guitars. This actually has, for a long time, been my standard tuned guitar, but right now it's in drop A, which is kind of funny, but I used this to do the Amaranth cover on my channel. And so I put this is a 68, and it's a beefy. I think it's 68 through 13 or something absurd. I need to put it back, I think. But yeah, this is a great guitar. It's a little maybe more complicated than it needs to be. I really like the ability to have a piezo sound. It's got like a dual output, so you could, you know, strum some nice acoustic chords, and then boom, right back to electric. Actually, I don't know which one goes which way. And then it's got a coil tap, and there's like a preamp built in for the piezo and stuff. So there's a battery in it, which is not ideal. I don't really use a tremolo all that much, so this is actually blocked off. And you can see I broke the thing for the whammy bar. Whoops-a-daisy. Cecil lithium pickups, locking nut, locking tuners, neck through. I believe this is a mahogany body. And a mahogany neck, and then maple stripes. I put like some fake Jason Becker numbers stickers on it that I got on Amazon. I put it on there to make it easier for my Relation Shapes video series for it to be really easy to see where I put my fingers and what fret I'm on at any given moment. So I thought it looked okay, but you know, I got a lot of weird questions like, oh, where'd you get the LPM numbers? It looks cooler without them, I think, personally, but it was like a functional thing, you know, just to make it really easy to see what I was doing at any given moment. I think it's kind of funny that I have more 6-string guitars than I do 7-string guitars, even though I play a lot more 7-string, but you know, that's just kind of how it played out. So this is the super sick Shuriken Variax from line 6. This is the most all-purpose guitar you could ever possibly think to have. Any kind of Variax is just crazy. You know, you could be like, I want to play a banjo. I want it to be a Telly. I want it to be a Les Paul, an acoustic guitar. I literally don't own a single acoustic guitar, so if I need an acoustic sound, this is a pretty cool way to go about it. Of course, there's the piezo's on the Ernie Balls, but like this has like the piezo pickup plus like processing that makes it sound like an acoustic guitar. So you can use it for that kind of thing, or if I need like a jazz box or something like that for whatever reason. And you can put it in all kinds of crazy tunings, and it'll sync up with your Helix. Real sick. Yeah, this is like the licensed model of Stevik McKay from 12 Foot Ninja, and he's a dude who actually uses all this stuff for pretty much every song. I think 12 Foot Ninja probably couldn't play a show without this stuff, which is really pretty interesting to me. Like, obviously, like that's, you know, if they lose their guitars on tour or something, they're fucked. They can't just like pick up, you know, an off-the-shelf guitar and play a show. But also when I saw the band Frog Leap with Leo Maracchioli and Rabia Afro, they were playing these because they were playing the music from all the songs on Leo's channel. And of course, when he's recording those, he wasn't thinking about, you know, performing them live. So everything's in crazy different tunings and everything. So they needed something like this to play their shows. And they, once again, they synced it up with the Helix floorboards so that for each song, they could have a completely different tuning. And they don't have to worry about switching all the pickups and the different tunings and everything on the guitar. They just do that on the Helix, and through the network cable, it does all of that with just a single foot switch. Really awesome, definitely a very powerful performance tool that I'll probably never have a reason to use live. Unless Leo wants a, you know, if Rabia can't make a tour, Leo, I guess you could call me up. This is my PRS. I think it's an S2 standard. I think that's what it's called. It's the cheapest Paul Reed Smith that you can buy that's still made in the US. I love just the look of a PRS. You know, this thing is awesome. This little contour here, love, and it looks cool. It's functional, awesome. Just the general shape of the guitar and the headstock especially. I love the PRS headstock. Kind of wish that it had the birds inlays. Those are pretty clutch, but you know, I wasn't gonna spend $1 billion. Same deal, like this one doesn't have the fancy PRS 10 top or anything like that, but this is like I want to say like $1,000 or something, and it's still made in the same factory as all the super fancy ones. Really great guitar, 25-inch scale, so not really great for tuning too low, but it's got 24 frets. I put in these EMGs for a pickup review. This is the Glenn Tipton EMG set that I did like a review of, like 2 or 3 years ago at this point. So I put them in there and I just never took them out. I was pretty lazy, but you know, they sound good. Sound pretty cool in this guitar. Got some really good tones out of it actually. And I don't remember what the stock pickups sound like, so it's just as good. This is another guitar that like I really like, in spite of like on paper, a lot of the specs are not what I would go for. Like it's got a gloss painted neck, not my jam in general. Rosewood fretboard, not really into it. EMGs, I'm pretty neutral about, but I still really like the guitar, and I think it looks cool, it plays great. Feels pretty awesome. It's comfy to play. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I always thought the PRS locking tuners were kind of weird. Like they have this weird design where the lock is on the top. Never really got that. Guess it's better than no locking tuners, but you need like a quarter or a screwdriver to do it. Just one of those many quirks of different guitar builders. So this is the Trey Frankenstrat. This is kind of my tester guitar. It was the first one I attempted this kind of weird finish that you're seeing here. Calling it a finish is being pretty generous. This is like a thing that I do in my spare time. It's called decoupage. I make mosaics using little tiny pieces of paper. This is the first one that I did, and it's pretty horrendous looking. I mean, it's got a lot of character, but it's pretty wonky. I spent a summer just trying this out. This was sort of the prototype almost, and you'll see the other one, the much better one, in a minute. But you know, this is actually an Ibanez Roadstar body, not a Strat, but it's obviously a Strat style, and it's such a Strat ripoff that this Mighty Mite neck that is an exact Strat neck copy fit perfectly in the neck pocket. So this is an eBay wonder. I used to be pretty into like finding eBay guitar parts and like piecing together like Ibanez RG of my dreams and stuff like that. I actually think I still have more than one Ibanez neck sitting in my closet, which is so dumb. Like, why do I have that? So, like I said, this is kind of my tester guitar. So I put stuff in it to test it out. Like, this is the Fishman triple play system mount. I don't have it on here at the moment. This is the MIDI pickup mount. And then this is for the Gizmotron, which I reviewed. You can find that on our channel. These are the mounts for that. And then I currently have the Fret Zealot system on here for a review that I'm doing, which is a whole thing. It's cool, it lights up and it shows you where to put your fingers if you're learning how to play or you want to learn some new scales. Yeah, it's a Mighty Mite neck that I got on eBay. These are, I think, Fender locking tuners. Nice sort of brushed chrome or something. Look pretty awesome, actually. Drilled the holes for that myself, so they're naturally a little bit wonky, but it does the job. Yeah, once again, I have a red EMG in here. I don't know, actually, I don't know which this is. This is a Lace Hot Gold neck pickup, I think. Single coil. That I don't think is connected right now because I have an EMG and that's it. Here we have my Jaws guitar. This is an RG5 EX1 from Ibanez. I think this was actually a Guitar Center exclusive guitar. Bought it once again on eBay and it was beat to shit, so I got it for like probably 150 bucks with the intention of turning it into a piece of art, which I did. This is the cover of Jaws, which is a sick movie. I think I actually managed to make the shark look a little bit scarier than the one on the cover because it has more teeth and they're more fucked up. Like, shark teeth are really fucked up. I don't know if you ever noticed that. So that was a lot of fun to do, actually. So this, once again, is decoupage. People always ask, oh, is that a bunch of pieces of tape? What you got on there? Yeah, I have 10,000 different shades of blue tape. I always thought that was a weird question. Like, what kind of tape? Who runs a tape factory? Makes this many different shades of tape? Anyway, this is actually a bunch of little tiny pieces of paper that I cut up into these little squares and little shapes, and I glued them on, and it took for goddamn ever. This is pretty much a year's worth of work. Not like consistently, but I worked on it a lot. Took a very long time, and it's like a relaxing thing that I like to do. I wish I had more time to do it, honestly. Just like being able to sit there and like watch TV and just glue these little pieces of paper on over and over again and to slowly form this big piece of art. It's kind of like art in slow motion because I can't paint or draw or like do any kind of visual art really, but this is something I can do because it's so slow. You know, if you paint something, it's too fast. You know, like you have to have real skill to paint something because, you know, the paint's gonna dry. So you gotta. This took shape over the course of a year, so I could stop and like look at it, you know, back off a bit, take a picture of it, look at it later, and come back and fix things, pull off some pieces of paper. So most of the pieces of paper on here are from issues of Guitar World. It was just a magazine that I had a lot of. And so Guitar World does this thing on the back page called It Might Get Weird, where they show off like a full page of one weird guitar every month. And so I got some like pro shots of this done, and I sent them in to Guitar World, and they put it as one of their It Might Get Weird columns. And so I had it framed. It was pretty sick. Bummer though, the month before this, John Petrucci was on the cover. It was the one where he's sitting on the throne of guitars. And I really wish that I'd have been in that one instead of the in utero version, which is fine. That's pretty sick too. Yeah, they did a nice little write-up about the guitar, and so this guitar is kind of famous. Even more so now that it's on this video that you're watching. The back, what he says right before he shoots the oxygen tank that's in the shark's mouth. Sorry if that's a spoiler if you haven't seen the movie. And then just to cap it all off, it's autographed by Paul Gilbert. That was pretty cool. I got to meet him when he was doing some stuff. My friend's a cameraman, and he worked at whatever the company is that Paul Gilbert does lessons through, like video lessons that you can get. And he was like, hey, Paul Gilbert is coming through, and I'm gonna be shooting some video with him. You wanna meet him? And I was like, hell yeah. So I brought my guitar, and I had him sign it. And he was really super nice, and we got to talk for a couple minutes. That is a super cool, super smart dude. I wish that I could play like him. And also, he was one of the original Ibanez reverse headstock guys. A lot of his signature models, the PGM guitars, were some of the first ones that I saw that had a reverse headstock on them. And I think the Ibanez reverse headstock is way better than the regular one. That's why I bought this guitar. The neck on this guitar is actually spectacular. I always say that like, whoever was running the neck machine that day was like, I'm gonna make the best neck that's ever come out of this factory. And he just made this super sick neck, and it plays great. And that sucks because I never play this guitar. But also you may notice that it looks like it's strung backwards, and that's because I had this idea to do something called inside out tuning. And it's still tuned E-A-D-G-B-E, not upside down. Like, you can play anything in standard tuning that you want to play, but the octaves are all messed up. It's basically octave displacement tuning. So you can play, it's not really in tune right now, but if you play a scale, it'll still be all the right notes, but they'll all be in the wrong octaves. And so it's pretty cool. People didn't really seem to like or understand the video that I made about it, and pretty much everybody just complained about the tone, and you know, they kind of missed the point. But I still think it's a really cool idea. And yeah, inside out standard tuning. I highly recommend that you try it. So it's like, it's still E-A-D-G-B-E, but it's like not really in tune, obviously, but you get the idea. This is the Anygig travel guitar. I did a review of this where I actually traveled with it. Took it home with me to New Hampshire. It was definitely travel sized. It did the job. It's pretty cheap, and I love the idea of having a travel sized guitar to take with me and play in a hotel, you know, and just play it literally anywhere. Yeah, overall it's, you know, nothing particularly special about it. One pickup. The tuning situation is just a bit of a mess. They actually fixed this on the newer models, so hopefully I'll be able to get an updated version of it. I mean, honestly, I'll probably never change the strings on this guitar. Like, it's just for travel purposes. It doesn't have to sound great or look like much. You know, it's pretty much a stick, like I said in the review. It's technically a guitar. It does the job of being a guitar. It's not pretty, it doesn't sound amazing. It's just so much better than not having a guitar on the road. Country road, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mount Lala, take me home, country road. That's the only appropriate song to play on a travel guitar, so this is pretty much a one-song guitar. This is the Acacia Atlas bass. Super long scale, 36.75 inches on the low end to 34. Did a whole review on this bass. You can check it out on our channel. I really love the Seymour Duncan pickups with the Seymour Duncan preamp system. It's like a 4-band EQ and a preamp. It just sounds banging. I think this is a 160. I want to say it's a 160 for a low A. Usually tuned A standard. It's a very beastly bass. This is the latest addition to the family. It's a Cecil JB JB multi-scale. It's a bit shorter of a scale length. This one's 35 to 33.5 inch scale. Does not appear to be a problem at all. This low A is still banging, and this is only a 145. I've been recording a lot with this lately, and it sounds awesome. Single coil pickups, which I didn't actually really think about when I ordered it. Because I use a lot of gain, they actually have been a bit noisy. They sound awesome. So what I do is I just leave it in the middle position, and when you do that, it's like humbucking. And it sounds killer like that, so that's what I've been doing. They're not noisy pickups, they're just single coil pickups, and single coil pickups pick up hum. And that's why you have to buck the hum with humbuckers. Extraordinarily well built bass. Yeah, white raw tone ash finish. Really love the look of that. It's a very classic look, which is kind of not my usual bag. I usually like a very modern finish, but this is a very classic looking bass, which is funny because it's like, it looks like finish-wise, and with the black pickguard, you know, it looks like it could be a bass that was made by Fender, like, you know, 70 years ago, except that it's multi-scale, which of course didn't come along for a long time after that. So that to me is cool. It's like a time travel bass. And maple fretboard, bird's eye maple fretboard, I think. I love the look of the black dots on bird's eye maple. A nice contrast, makes it easy to see where you're at too. Offset staggered dots, matching headstock, and 2 fret wraps just because. 5-piece maple and walnut neck, that's my favorite combination, just because of the way it looks. It's an active bass, so there's all this room for activities. Once again, Cecil makes just some of the best guitars in the world, and if that wasn't enough, you know, I get to decide on features that it has. You know, it's not just like an off-the-shelf guitar. And I chose all this stuff. I chose the finish. I chose the wood. I love swamp ash because it's the lightest wood for a guitar, I think. I don't know that they make guitars out of balsa just yet, but love light woods for ergonomic reasons. And swamp ash also sounds awesome if you believe in tone woods, and the jury's still out, but really I haven't noticed any problems with swamp ash is the main thing. So, it has an active and passive switch, in case you want that to happen. Lots of tonal options on this bass, and the best thing about this bass, I think, because I love multi-scale basses, because the string tension on the low string is extremely important on a 5-string bass. You know, having a low A, it can just be flop city, and I hate that. I'm very picky. So I like having a longer scale bass, and This is long enough that it has a nice tight low A, but I can use regular bass strings. I don't have to get like a fancy set, you know, I don't have to mail order strings. I can just get a regular long scale bass string set and slap them on here. That just makes my whole life, you know, because really the best way to get a really good bass tone is to put fresh strings on and smack the crap out of it. So having fresh strings all the time, as much as possible, makes my life, and the fact that I don't have to order some and then wait, you know, makes a big difference to me. So that's my guitar collection as of December 2018. I'm pretty sure I probably forgot something. There's probably a guitar sitting in a closet somewhere that I missed, but that's the perils of being a guitarist. I'm sure my collection will shrink and grow as the years go on and change out a bunch of stuff, but for right now, these are the ones that I own, and even if I don't use them all, these are the ones that I've got, and being a guitarist is fucking weird. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you haven't already, mash that subscribe button and smack the bell for more reviews and original content, and I'll see you real soon.